Margaret Kuhlman of Soul Astrology. This new moon is in Taurus, the middle. It has a trine to the south node, Saturn and Pluto, in Capricorn at the top there, and both ends of that trine have a sextile to Neptune. This triangle is an indication of the importance of this month. Wherever Pluto is, we feel the importance, because we are also aware of the fear of death. Saturn in Capricorn on the south node is bringing us practical experience of the past, and the sun and moon are keying into it in an accepting way. It's as though on the earthly level we know this already. It's in the news, and in our personal ways, which one could say are smaller, but actually in terms of experience they're bigger for us. Our own history is rising to be dealt with somehow, maybe just to be acknowledged as the groundedness of our beginnings in this life or previous lives. Maybe because something is still left for us to complete. A realization, maybe, a lesson that we mistakenly learned negatively and needs to be brought into a positive frame of mind. And all through this work, Neptune in Pisces, our sensitivity to the whole of being and also to our own spiritual awareness. That connection is overlighting all that we find, all that we think and do. There are many people who are not really aware on that level. We all have the capacity, but for many people it's not their life's work this time. So they will be experiencing this sensitive connection as an emotional reaction to how it is in the world, to the results of the way we have been. A bit profligate in our use of earthly resources and so on. But to those who are sensitive to their own spirit and the spiritual dimension of life, it's for us to allow that sadness to flow through while we rededicate ourselves to the understanding that it's all one and all held in love anyway. The new moon chart has Mars in Gemini. Gemini rules the lungs, the breath of fresh air. Mars is our energy system and the energy that we put into things. It's connecting with a sextile to Mercury, so a lot of hot air, I would think, but also a lot of bright and interesting communications. As Mercury trines Jupiter, those communications could be about the bigger picture. What may have gone wrong on a global level, or in terms of the whole of our life, the context in which everything happens, rather than just the happenings. But we have this fact also that the Mars opposite Jupiter, they're both squaring the Neptune. So it's as though on this level of trying to sort things out mentally, we don't quite get the need for the surrender to spirit. We still think we can do things. We still think that maybe the future is up to us. Our future is up to us individually in terms of our attitude to the life we live, bringing openness, acceptance, no judgments, allowing things to be as they are, which is always the first step to having any effect anywhere. At the full moon, we find that the sun is still connecting to that Capricorn group, and now there is Mercury joining in absolutely as well. So we're likely to be more accepting because we understand better what's been rising up. Mars will have just gone into Cancer, so the energy is more about doing that which nurtures, which cares for, taking care of ourselves. The sextile to Uranus and Venus suggests there may be radical shifts in the way we treat each other. Uranus in the process of shaking up the earth we understand, and Venus right with it, being prepared perhaps to let go of the way it's been in the past and to put our feet more firmly in the present so that we can care for ourselves and each other. This caring is perfect in terms of humanity's growth at present, shown by the north node of the moon, also in Cancer. I've explained in the letter, but I will just say also that Saturn is tracking along retrograde with the south node. These events that hark back to our history continue to rise right through until late September. And Neptune also will be retrograding for some of that time, trining the north node of the moon through until the end of August. Neptune's connection with the north node for all this time is a suggestion that it's the spiritual connection, that recognition that we are all one, that nothing can be done in one place without it having an effect everywhere else, and that being happy, accepting, contented with your life, seeing the beauty in things, being kind to others, will have an effect right the way through humanity. In order to remain in this positive frame of mind, we need our spiritual connection. Otherwise all we have is the mind and the ego and the personality, knowing full well that none of this can actually manage the world, change our lives. It's our spiritual connection which is where changes really happen. And those changes, as I'm sure you know, are the falling away of the shadows and the masks that hide that light, the spiritual centre of us, our essential, heart-filled nature, the light of our being, which is the light of being itself. So this whole month, very grounded we need to be, in touch with nature, including our own bodies, and most effective in the maintaining of steadiness and balance as the circumstances of life rock our boats. You'll be aware of that saying, I expect. I turned to Spirit for help when the foundations of my life were shaking, only to find it was Spirit shaking them. Come into the arms of your angel self. Let the wings wrap round you, warm and safe. In truth, there is nothing to fear. Only your tattered rags of identity will be lost. You will remain, beloved of us all. Let go. You will not fall. You are weightless, suspended in heaven. Those scenes you cling to are made of your fear of falling, and it is they that weigh you down. The joy of life is within you, waiting your attention to flower and grow. Move like a tree in the breeze, like a bird in the sky, and breathe in to give yourself room. Nothing is wrong here and now. Life just is.